this is Boricua Binks and welcome back to Let's Play the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, where we are continuing on in the third case of the game, The Adventure of the Runaway Room. Obviously, the true culprit. Extraordinary. There we go. I feel like we were super close to a to be continued part, and I really wanted to get to it last time, but my throat was like, no, no more. So I'm very excited to see like what's gonna happen next, because we haven't met whoever the true culprit is yet. We haven't seen them, so I wonder if they're, watching the trial and we'll figure it out somehow, or bring them onto the stand, or maybe our defendant will be like, there they are, finally saying something. But I've been wondering all this time, like, why has our defendant been keeping quiet about this other person, unless it's someone he knows and wants to protect, It's weird. Order, order, order! What exactly are you postulating?
Objection!
The defense's postulation is just that. Nothing more than conjecture. Let me pose at you. The witnesses have clearly stated that they saw the accused.
Objection!
But when elaborating on his testimony, Mr. Fairplay said the two of them were wearing hats and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. Aha! I've been waiting for them to mention that, the whole hat thing. Yes. The tops of their heads were obscured by the roof. I could see the rest of them though. Yes, that's right. Both gents were most certainly hatted. My hat's better than yours, I guess. Yours is... you can see that it's at a weird angle, it doesn't fit you, it keeps falling. It drives me crazy. Isn't he supposed to be a hat maker? Like, sir, you need to improve your hat making skills. Hatters do tend to notice such things, sir. And what particular styles of hat did the two gentlemen sport, Mr. First? I'm afraid I don't remember. You call yourself a hatter? Yep. He said exactly what I said. Oh my god, I love it. And you call yourself a hatter? The style of hat makes no difference. There was no third passenger in that cabin. How can you be sure? Because if there had been, the accused, Mr. McGilded, would undoubtedly have offered to depose the fact. Unless, that is, you are proposing an even more preposterous explanation. That the accused failed even to notice the presence of the true culprit in the very cabin in which he traveled. Yeah. He's right. There was another person traveling in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. It's inconceivable that Mr. McGilded would have been unaware of it. Order! There is clearly a simple solution to this problem. Bring the accused, Mr. McGilded, to the stand. Well, what say you, counsel? The prosecution objects, my lord. On what grounds? As a suspect, he will have already made a full statement to the police. But what if there's some reason why he's unable to speak freely? Magnus McGilded is no uneducated ruffian. If it indeed turns out the man has been withholding information, you can be sure it will have been a most deliberate act. Counsel for the defense, what is your opinion? This is not a good situation. My lord, should we ask Mr. McGilda to testify or not? At this point, we have to. Yes, we need to hear what he has to say in order to find out the truth. Why are you putting your arm up? The defense would like to call Mr. McGilda to the stand. In that case, I would like to hear the opinion of the jury. Yes, I need a little time to consider this. If you ask me, I think we should hear what Mr. McGilded has to say. Get the man out here, I say. It would be utterly illogical not to hear his testimony. When something needs doing, get it done. That's how I run things at the guild.
Hearing what the patron of my favorite little park has to say? Oh yes, that would be lovely.
Yes, the jury says the man must be heard. You changed your tune just because everybody else was saying it. Very well. The court will hear the defendant's testimony. Bailiff, show the defendant to the... sorry. Bailiff, show the defendant to the stand at once. Now, maybe what actually happened that night will finally become clear. Let proceedings be resumed. Mr. McGilded, have you been listening to the discourse of the day? This man. To be sure I have, my lord. There are now two matters on which the court desires to hear from you. The first is whether or not there was a third party with you in the omnibus cabin as proposed by the defense. The second is that if such a person was indeed present, why did you conceal that fact from the police? Begad, no, 'tis not in my nature to hide anything at all. Just answer the questions, please. The truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. Do I tell yous all, or keep me mouth shut? Tell us what, Mr. McGilded? The fine fella representing me is absolutely right. In the carriage on the night with myself and the other man, there was another passenger. It's true. It was me who helped the little urchin get away after it all happened. Little urchin? So someone young. You... what? Oh boy. No, Magnus McGilded. That convenient excuse can't save you now. I'm truly sorry, so I am, Lord Von Zeeks. I'm sure you'll be wanting to know why I said nothing when I was taken in by the police. I do be having a very good reason, I assure you. Which was? Well, the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and not in any way involved, you see? What? Oops, sorry, wrong voice. What? If the police had known the wee one was there, they'd have assumed she'd done it. They'd have hauled her into this here courtroom just like myself. Okay. I was only trying to spare her that. Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord. And who was this young child of whom you speak? That I don't know. You don't know? Well, the wee thing just happened to be in the carriage that night. I never saw her before or since.
Objection!
We have absolutely no reason to believe this man. The prosecution calls for the witness's statements to be disregarded by the court. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the urchin isn't here in this courtroom as we speak, listening to the proceedings. What? Oh, snap! Ah, smoke! Ah, fire! There's a fire! Look, someone's trying to get away! It's no use. I can't see anything through all this smoke. What is going on? I thought it was a gunshot, but it looks like it was a smoke bomb? What the frick?
Be careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Cover your face.
Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom. Oh boy. We were hurriedly removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff. Amid scenes of chaos as people stumbled over one another in their desperation to flee the chamber. We had no idea what was happening. All we knew was that, for the time being at least, the trial was suspended. So this is where I would have ended the episode last time. This is the to be continued I was waiting for. Alright, well, it took quite a while to get there, so it's fine. It's fine. Oh boy. Alright, let's continue on and see what's happening. February 18th, 12:52 p.m. The Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. What on earth just happened in there?
Mr. Naruhodo, I've managed to find out what happened.
Mr. Sato.
I was told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke.
A smoke grenade? It sounds like the sort of thing ninjas use.
They're just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long.
But who would have done something like that?
The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently.
Flee the courtroom? Why?
Well, it's a young girl of around 15, I hear.
Oh, she's not as young as I thought, then. A young girl? Then could it be the other passenger that Mr. McGilded was just talking about?
My thoughts exactly.
So he wasn't lying. But why'd she bother with the smoke bomb? She could have just left. Quickly and quietly, you know? Oh, what's become of Mr. McGilded, actually? There are so many things I need to ask him about, but he's not here.
I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions, along with the young girl.
Who is she, I wonder? And what was she even doing here at the trial? She was taking a huge risk, and for what possible benefit to herself?
There's another matter that's troubling me.
What's that?
The 20 pence.
Yeah. How'd she get in there, right? Oh,
According to the coachman, Mr. Beppo,
who could be lying yet again.
took 4 passengers that night at a fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence exactly.
But now it seems there were in fact 5 passengers.
Which means the figures don't seem to add up again.
Unless he let her ride for free? She's right. That is strange. Counsel for the defense, kindly proceed to the courtroom. The trial will recommence in 5 minutes. Oh, thank you, officer. We'll go in straight away.
Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say, but it could alter the whole direction of the trial.
We'll know soon enough, Mrs. Sato.
Yes.
Alright, now 1 p.m. in the Old Bailey courtroom. Oh? Interesting. I hope you guys can't hear that, but it snowed a lot, so there's a lot of noise of people shoveling next door. Which means very soon I shall have to be out there shoveling as well. Alas, that makes me sad. There's the young girl next to Mr. McGilded, look. I think back then, wasn't it kind of rare for a girl to wear pants, though? Oh, there's no way you guys can't hear that now. Dag nabbit. Why do they have to be shoveling right now? Right there? Oh, that's so loud. I'm so sorry, you guys. I wish I could stop them. She must have been the one who caused the disturbance before. Oh, this is horrible. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna have to pause the recording for a while because I don't want this sound to be ruining your experience. Alright. She must have been the one who caused the disturbance before. Well, after that rather eventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Van Zieks. My lord. I believe you have established the cause of the smoke which veiled proceedings earlier. It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade, of the sort typically employed by the army. Good gracious, the army? What in the devil's name? It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught. And now occupies the stand. Your name, girl? Okay. Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced... Excuse me. Which induced such pandemonium here in my courtroom? What is the meaning of this deplorable behavior? Nothing to say? Ahem. If I may, my lord. Yes, Mr. McGilded. I think perhaps I ought to explain here why it is that this wee lass was here in the first place and why she tried to bolt like that. 'Tis all tied up with the events of that night, so it is. Very well, Mr. McGilded. Give your testimony. You will explain to the court exactly how... Dang nabbit. Ah, that break made me sleepy. Exactly how this young woman is involved in the case. Just what did happen that night?
It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything.
Yeah, Mr. McGilded, you piece of crap. Why didn't you tell us? You make it harder for us. The young girl. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Then, begorra, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start. There was a fella collapsed on the floor at me feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. Then I turned to find out where that scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away. She ain't a child, she's a teenager. But whatever.
I remain somewhat baffled, I confess, but from what I gather on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus, is that correct?
'Tis exactly as the defense counsel said. This last was the fifth passenger, my lord.
Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witnesses. Are you ready, counsel?
Yes, my lord.
Or rather, no. I have no idea where to start.
And he makes that face again. Van Zeeks looks very unhappy. Alright. Gotta do some pressing then.
Hold it!
And when you first got onto the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board?
There were not. The cabin was empty and there was no one on the roof deck either.
You were the first passenger, as it were, I see.
Aye, and that's why I took the backside as I did. 'Tis the most comfortable, so it is.
Could you explain exactly what you mean by the back seat?
By all means, 'tis how you already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite the one in which the poor gentleman who was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, 'tis the most comfortable and where I feel most at ease. And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from time to time as well. Interesting. Then begorra!
Hold it!
Or is it begorra? One or the other.
A loud thud, you say? And a scream?
Aye, that's right. How can I explain it? 'Twas like the sound of someone falling to the ground. That sort of noise.
So you think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor having been stabbed?
Well now, you'll remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say. And when the sound woke me and I opened my eyes, there wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but the fella on the floor.
You didn't see anyone, but at the same moment you did hear a scream. Oh, from the seats above you on the roof deck, I presume?
Not above me, my lord. Not above me, no, my lord. 'Twas from inside the cabin. But I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before me eyes. There was a fella collapsed on the floor, okay. So I sat him up on the seat across from me. Why would you do that?
Hold it!
You set him up? The victim, you mean?
That I did. The seat across from me, as I said. I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. And you wouldn't leave a dead man just laying on the floor now, would you? 'Tis common courtesy, so it is. No, that's messing with the crime scene. You shouldn't have done that. I find that a little hard to believe. Alright, Lord Von Zeeks. Now why would that be? Ara. That's very Japanese, isn't it? You wake to find a man lying dead at your feet in a carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabman. Any upstanding member of London society, that is. Oh, he's calling you out. Well now, as you know, I'm in something of a special line of business. The business of lending money at exorbitant rates of interest. Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offer them, and some would even see me dead. So I do try, where at all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle with trouble. Are you suggesting you were just going to leave the man there? Heavens alive, no. I was always intending to report it, so I was. Only I had a mind to find out the whys and wherefores first. The whys and wherefores? What you are? There were some details I wanted to understand before anyone else got to meddling. That wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self do just the same? Yes, the scream he says he heard at the same time as the thud of the victim collapsing. Then I turned to find out where that scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find?
Hold it!
I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court that there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim. So I did, sir. So I did. As far as I could see, that is. What do you mean by that? Well now, 'tis a queer thing. The wee scream I heard as I woke up. It came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under me backside. Good gracious, your ass was screaming? Under your backside? And when I lifted the seat on which I'd been sitting, I found there was a wee cubby hole there for storage. Ah, I was wondering when that would come into play.
Mr. Naruhodo, we can examine the omnibus ourselves, remember?
Yes, of course. The whole bus was submitted as evidence.
This would be a very good time to have a thorough look around inside, which we did earlier, but maybe we should look again? Okay. I mean, we did look. Let's open the door, go inside. Yeah. Alright, it was in here. The seat has a handle, it seems. There's a storage compartment, but there's nothing in here. It's totally empty. Something doesn't seem right here, but I can't put my finger on what it is. Wait, it wasn't empty before. There were things inside, weren't there? Wait. Is that supposed to be empty? I could have sworn there were things inside of it. Wait, was this big puddle on the floor before? I remember it being on the seat, but not on the floor. That's blood, isn't it? Is something wrong? Oh, it's just, well, this blood stain is so obvious, that's all. And yet Van Zeeks has made no mention of it. I suppose that does seem a little strange. Why do I have such a bad feeling about this? Yeah, that was definitely not there before. All of the items that were inside, in there, definitely are gone. Did anything else change? I'm still bothered by this, but I think that is part of the... is there anything else going on? Anything else that's changed or that's different than what I remember? Anything else?
different. Everything else pretty much looks the same, I guess. So it was just the inside that changed. Okay. And that's when I found her. There was a child in there. Okay, so then let's press on this.
Hold it!
You say she was hiding herself?
Aye, that's right. 'Twas hard to see in the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball. When our eyes met, well, my heart nearly stopped beating in me chest.
You're really overacting this.
Still and all, I pulled her out from under there and sat her on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chinwag with her.
The seat opposite.
That's right, just next to the dead gentleman there.
You sat this young girl next to a corpse, sir?
Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, a gentleman in my position can all too often find himself in mortal danger. So, I needed to find out just who this urchin was, you see. And while I was in the middle of talking with her, I heard another scream, a fella's voice this time.
Presumably that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats.
Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, you must have seen this young girl and the gentleman with the knife in his belly.
In other words, the previous witnesses did not in fact see you at all, Mr. McGilded. What they believed to be yourself and the victim was in fact this girl and the late Mr. Mason.
Aye, my lord. I was, as I think everyone understands now, sat at the back of the carriage out of sight.
It is certainly plausible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature, and readily confused perhaps with this young girl.
After that, of course, with the scream from the gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses.
Thank you, I've heard enough. The events as explained are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is the girl?
Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. Wait, what? Lestrade? Okay. Now, if you don't know Sherlock Holmes' background and storyline and all that, then that name won't mean anything to you. But Lestrade happens to usually be one of the detectives that Sherlock works with. So that's kind of spoilery, but whatever. I'm assuming she must be related to the detective Lestrade, because she's too young and she's female, and Lestrade is usually male and older. So maybe she's his daughter? Huh. Very interesting. Okay. Interesting. She's a chancer. Earns her crust among large crowds, relieving people of their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket. Ah, interesting. So Lestrade has a pickpocket daughter?
What? This girl here, a petty thief.
That explains how she's dressed, how she's acting.
Order, order! Is this true, Miss Lestrade?
It looks like Lestrade, but it is pronounced Lestrade.
Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question.
Oh, what the?
Ugh!
She just shot the judge with a freaking glass ball cloud smoke thing again. Like, what the frick? They should have taken that away from her. Why didn't they check what she had? Oh my god, where was she carrying that big ass thing? I know she has a bag, but come on.
How dare you? What is the meaning of this?
Hmm? Ugh, she's trying to run away again.
The girl, she's gone.
What? Maybe she's not gone? What the frick is she doing? Is she being extra? What is this? What is this? Seriously. If this is her, then God, I'm assuming she kind of has an accent similar to McGilded then. Uh, I don't know. I'm trying to like mentally prepare my brain and my mouth for this. Okay. Open your eyes. I'm over here. Is this her music? Okay.
Good gracious, how? What was the point in that little sidestep?
Right? She's being extra. Oh my gosh. Now we have. Why do we have so many extra people in Ace Attorney? Oh, I love it. I know what you lot are thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. This dirty little dipper, you'll say, slipped up and got caught on the job. She got herself backed into a corner, so she knifed the gent. Go on, that's what's in your heads, ain't it?
No, not at all. This is a court of law. We're here to determine the...
What the? A green one now? That's rude. Take that gun away from her! Look, knives are for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need for what I do is these fingers. I'm a professional, alright? Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride in what I do.
Let me guess, you don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs.
Yeah.
Oh, this? Yeah, this was in a bag I lifted the other day, down where they keep the four-wheel drags.
Four-wheel drags.
It's nice, isn't it? I like the pink best.
Ugh, do not wave that thing in my direction again.
He's like, I need a drink. Oh, I think we all do right now. So, you admit that you were riding the omnibus on the night in question. It is all right, Loss. You can tell him the truth now.
Alright, yeah. It's just like the Irishman said.
The court accepts this girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness in this case. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony, if you please, and stop shooting us, damn it. You will tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus on the night in question.
Alright, if I have to. If I have to.
Sorry. That accent. Now I have two of them. No! Why? This game is torturing me. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this. This should be an interesting testimony, an interesting witness to deal with. And thank you so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day. Bye-bye.